Hey, my name's Samira. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. Thank you for clicking on the video. I just wanted to share a little bit about a project I've been working on. I've been here on YouTube in a couple different forms. I actually originally started doing tarot card readings years ago, I think at the end of 2014. And then I had a huge life change, became a disciple, and I don't do the tarot anymore. I'm a disciple, a Christian. And yeah, that really changed my life and has been awesome. Yeah, but one of the things that I don't know if I ever really shared on here was that I actually I have kind of tried to share some of my style stuff on here. But yeah, I used to actually work as a wardrobe assistant in film production on commercials in the Bay Area here. And then I owned my own vintage store when I was like really young, and I've just always been into vintage and clothes. I just love clothes. And then a couple of years ago, I kind of got into the Kibbe-verse on YouTube, which is interesting that YouTube is kind of like where that lives. It's its own little niche and very interesting, very informative. So I got into that. And then one of the last videos that I made on this channel was the Project 333 for my Kibbe type. So since then, I discovered that I had my Kibbe type wrong, which is hilarious. I had actually gotten typed, I think around the time that I made that video, shortly after, I actually gotten typed by Rita from Style Thoughts by Rita, who I love. I love her channel. She does great content, really thoughtful and interesting and original. So she typed me as a romantic, and I had typed myself as a soft natural. But I think even in that video, I was sharing how much trouble I had typing myself. I went through, I think I thought I was a soft gimme initially, and then maybe a theatrical romantic, and then soft natural. And I never actually would have landed on romantic. And part of that is part of the reason I'm sharing this is because it's part of the reason for my new project. But I never would have landed on romantic, partly because of the language around that body type, and it was just so kind of like hyped up. It was like Marilyn Monroe and Beyonce and like all these like hyper sexual, sex symbol-y type women. And I was like, well, I'm not that one, you know, because it seemed like a weird kind of arrogance to try to type yourself as like, you know, something like that. So I think that what I found, I've actually found it really, really helpful to figure out my Kibbe type. Obviously, you know, it's not from David Kibbe, but it has made a lot of sense, and it's really been informing my decisions that I make for my wardrobe, and also just how I see style content in general. In general, for me, I'm like no longer really that interested in kind of like following the clothing suggestions, like specific clothing suggestions, or even really outfit suggestions from somebody who has a different Kibbe body type than me, because I know that it's not going to look the same on me. And obviously I can look at that for inspiration and then adjust that for my type, which is also something that I do or can do. But to me, it makes a huge difference in the way that I consume content and the way that I consume fashion and style information. And I think it's really just a valuable tool. But I think that the way that it exists now, and there's lots of other people who are doing interesting things that do kind of combat that, but the way that it's typified right now, I feel like there can be barriers to actually using the tool. And a lot of the barriers are through the language that's used, and through just some of the associations. So that's something I've been thinking about and interested in. And then I actually, with encouragement from my family and my husband, kind of came up with my own system. So it's Kibbe inspired. There's definitely no punches pulled on that, in the same way that Kibbe is inspired by other creators. You know, we talk about Harriet McJimsey, Belle Northrup, and all these other kind of people who are working with those same kind of principles. So it's inspired by that work that's come before, but I've made it my own. My system is called Bouquet. It's Bouquet Body, and it's a style tool. So it has 12 body types, and it's got the 10 of them align pretty, correlate pretty clearly to the Kibbe body types. And then I have two that I have added just for my own observation of things that I see. As I was sort of going around with the body typing eyes, you know, there were several people who I just couldn't put into any category. And so that has given birth to the hibiscus and the daffodil, which the hibiscus is like, it's almost kind of like a cross between a soft dramatic and like a flamboyant natural, kind of. But it's one of the taller, the longer body types, and it's fleshy. So if you know the yin yang systems, it's basically got yang in the vertical and in the frame, but the yin on that figure, rather than being kind of this shape of yin, rather than being like in the waist kind of area, the yin is actually kind of in the shoulders. Like they have like a softer shoulder line, usually a larger bust, but then rather than having a really defined waist, they tend to kind of collect weight like in the torso area, and then have more slender legs. So also a very beautiful body type, but just something that I was like, I don't really know how to quite place this within what I understand of the Kibbe system. So anyway, so the hibiscus body type is one of the sort of taller body types that I've added onto, and then there's the daffodil body type, and the daffodil would be in the gamine family, but it's basically rather than like both of the gamines in Kibbe's system, as I understand it, the flamboyant gamine and the soft gamine, they both have a thin, like a small bone structure, like delicate bones, and then they have yin as well. They have some softness as well. So the daffodil is basically, it's more of like the blunt yang rather than the sharp yang, with the romantic softness. So if none of these terms make sense to you, don't worry, I'll make something that explains it more fully. But just wanted to kind of give an overview of my system. And yeah, and I would love to hear any feedback you guys have or any requests for videos. I've got a couple lined up, but I would definitely love to hear what you'd love to see. So thanks so much for being here, and I will see you again shortly. Bye-bye.